Hi everybody and welcome to Inside the Patriot League. I'm Rebecca Harlow. It's time to talk some hoops, and to help us do that, let's bring in our Colgate insider, Eric Malinowski. Eric, Colgate currently sits at 6-11 overall. Not ideal, but they're still tied with Boston U and Navy for first in the conference. How do you think they'll bounce back from their double OT loss to American?
Well, they're certainly hoping, Rebecca, that the game ends in regulation against Boston University. Last year, they had two back-to-back games, double overtime losses, and that was the start of a 6-game losing streak. Let's be honest, that would take a toll on any squad. It certainly took its toll on Colgate. Well, the senior leadership the Raiders have this year, I think they're headed in the right direction, 3-1 in Patriot League play, and I think they'll bounce back just fine from the loss at American.
Let's get into Boston U a bit more. As we've mentioned, they're sharing that lead with Navy and Colgate. They play the Raiders tomorrow. The outcome of that game could have huge ramifications down the stretch. What do you see when you take a look at this matchup?
They're very similar teams statistically. You look, they both hit 8 3-pointers a game. They both are around 71% from the free throw line, and they turn over the ball about 12 times a game. And you talk about balance, Rebecca. The Raiders have 3 players in double digits for the season, while Boston University has 4 players averaging at least 9 points per game. So I expect a nail-biter at Cotterell Court. Two very similar teams. It comes down to who executes at the end of the game.
And Colgate senior guard Damon Sherman-Newsome is playing the best basketball of his career, but over the last couple games he has struggled just a little bit. How critical will his play be in knocking off Boston U?
Very critical, Rebecca, and he has been pretty consistent all season long. He had 13 points against American, which for most players, that's great. But if you look at the stat line, he got most of his points from the free throw line, 7 out of 8. From the floor, he was 2 out of 14. And it's a very rare occurrence when Damon Sherman-Newsome, the senior from Anchorage, Alaska, is as cold as his home state. So I expect them to bounce back in a big way against Boston University. I expect them to play well against the Terriers.
Love it, Eric. Thanks so much for joining us on Campus Insiders. As always, we appreciate your insights. And don't forget, you can tune into Boston U at Colgate tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here exclusively on Campus Insiders. But before we go, let's hand out some hardware, because that's always fun. The Patriot League Player of the Week is Lafayette's Dan Trist. He averaged 22 points and 8 boards on 65% shooting as the Leopards split a pair of games last weekend. Next up, Rookie of the Week honors. The winner is Karan Ross out of Lehigh. Call him Jack of all trades. He averaged 12.7 dimes and 5 boards as Lehigh split a pair of games over the weekend. Congrats to Trist and Ross. And thanks for joining us, and make sure to keep it right here on Campus Insiders for plenty more Patriot League action.